Hello, this is William McKissick with Scully Mitchell, your expense reduction consultant. And as you know, at Scully Mitchell and personally, we love to promote and support other businesses on social media. We use these video interviews and we promote people over social media. Fantastic way to help people. I love doing this. And today I have with me Jaime Ellithorpe, who is with a company called 540 is the frequency of joy. And you help companies clarify the message and make sure that messaging out there is helping them close more business. So welcome to the show, Jaime. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you came to be here in the world and helping businesses clarify the message.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, William, for having me. It's a pleasure. So, a little bit about me and my backstory about how I got to sit here with you today is I started my career in corporate America and I did everything that society says we should do. I went to college. I was a small town girl. I moved to a huge city, got into corporate, got into the biggest company in the space in that industry, and ended up with a pretty coveted role. So on the outside, everything looked great. But on the inside, I was dying. And I went through this whole experience of like, wow, like this is what society said we should do, and I'm empty. So I went on a personal development journey, and through that process, I decided to start my own business. And I was determined to be happy and live in a state of joy in my business. But something very interesting and unexpected happened. In the process of building that business, I became overworked, burnt out, and almost back to square one of where I was at in corporate America until one day I had a powerful conversation that changed everything. I was having a conversation with another business owner who had seen a podcast that I was on, and she said, Jaime, you have got to talk about the equivalent of joy in your business. That the reason you named it 540 strategies is it's all about the frequency of joy. And I had that V8 moment and I realized, oh my gosh, I had left joy and went back to the corporate burnt out that I was so desperately running away from. So in my own journey, I had to go through an entire rebrand of upleveling my message and infusing joy back into everything I was doing, everything that we were offering clients, and making sure that our clients were living in the state of joy, which was the whole reason that I started 540 Strategies to begin with. So I came full circle, and that's why I'm so passionate today about helping other people with their message and making sure it's in alignment with who they authentically are so that they can serve the world in a huge way and still live in that state of joy while they're doing it.
Wow, what a fantastic story. So you live by your own sword. You found that where life wasn't working for you and you figured it out. Fantastic, love that. So tell us a little bit about what you're actually doing to help businesses because you talk in your messaging about the messaging part is like help people get the message and so that people know who they are, and what they're selling kind of thing. So tell us a little bit about that and how that works and how it helps businesses.
Yeah, so I'm going to start backwards with sales. So many heartfelt entrepreneurs hate that four-letter word, right? It feels so heavy and so that I've learned that when you have the right marketing in place, and more importantly, underneath that, it's the messaging that drives the marketing. So much of that pressure is taken off the plate because you don't have to force, you don't have to push anymore. When you have the right message, business comes to you and the perfect clients start coming to you. And that's what creates this whole magnetism piece that you hear about. Another pillar that's really important to me in my business is manifesting. And a lot of people know the term law of attraction. Well, that's what we're talking about is that when you energetically line up and feel really good about what you're saying in your messaging and what you're doing in your business, that's what really attracts clients.
Yeah.
It's not so much of the burnout and the doing that we're taught in our society. It's more about the being and just aligning the words and the marketing that you're putting out in the world with that.
Yeah, you can if you see somebody who's genuinely passionate and believing in what they do and they're enjoying what they do, I can see that in you. Obviously, when you've gone a journey to get there, I can see that in you. So what does a typical client look like? I'm guessing you work with businesses of all shapes and sizes. Tell us a little bit about that part.
Yeah. Because I'm so salt of the earth and I love to help people through the trials and tribulations that I have, we really work in the B2B service-based space,
Mhm.
primarily with people who identify as some type of coach, consultant, thought leader, or expert. Because the systems that I've designed, not only to help myself get through every stage of challenge in building a consulting business, we can easily take that and put that back into other people's businesses. So that's ideally who we help. However, my client attractor blueprint process can really help just about any business clarify their marketing because again, it's all about lining up the dots and energetically aligning with who you are authentically as a human because that's who we are at the end of the day is a human being trying to help other human beings. And when you can feel natural in that space in your work life, that's when things really start to turn around for you in your business. And that's when you really light up as a human and automatically get into that state of joy. And when you're in joy, you become unstoppable. There is no competition. The perfect clients are coming to you, and everything is just flowing and falling into place.
So assuming you're working with coaches, consultants, and other businesses, you can do this online or in person. Do you do any in person? Do you do it across the entire United States?
I primarily work online, just like you and I are talking
Yeah.
here, because of Zoom and the power of technology, we can just be so much more efficient and so much more powerful. If people want to get on a plane and come to Dallas, Texas, where I'm at, I would love to meet you in person, but that's totally not necessary. And I think that's another thing that's really important when it comes to marketing and messaging is that you can recreate that in-person feel by the messages that you're sending out into the world. We were really challenged during the pandemic of how to recreate a human connection when we physically couldn't be in the room. And I think that messaging is a great way to do that because it's so expressive of who you are authentically and how you help people that you don't have to be in the same room anymore. You can be across the ocean and still form a great relationship with people if you've got great messaging.
Yeah, it's one of the positives that came out of COVID because I do these video interviews and I started doing these video interviews because of COVID. It's like I want to remain relevant. I'm locked away in my home. How can I still be out there in the world? And this is one way of doing it. So if you're watching this video and you're looking for some help to make sure that you're getting the right message and showing your genuine self, you can contact Jamie at her details underneath her portion of the video, her phone number, email address, website, it's all there for you. So reach out to her. As you can see, she's passionate and she's genuine. And one final thought before we close up this short interview, Jamie, is like, how long does the process take? I guess I'm almost asking how long is a piece of string, but kind of generally, how long do you work with clients in the process?
It really depends on the level of support that clients are looking for. If they're looking for just a relationship where we build great marketing together and get all of those basic elements fleshed out, it can be anywhere from a 4 to 6 week process. And the great news is, if you don't love marketing, you don't ever have to do it again. It can be a one-time, lifetime exercise for you, and you've got everything built. But I've also designed it to where you can come back and refine or add to as you add more products and services to your business. And then if you really love the work that we're doing, we would love to invite you to be a lifetime client over in our agency where we actually build systems that support the marketing and the messaging so that you can make the right connections for clients, referral partners, and opportunities just like this on this podcast in your business.
Fantastic. So you work with clients from like a very short time scale all the way through to as long as they need you. And as you say, lifetime for absolutely as long as you need them. That is absolutely fantastic, Jamie. Thank you very much for coming on the show. If you're watching this video and you really want to help getting the message across, as Jamie said, making sure you're authentic and you're really genuinely being who you are, you can contact her at her portion of the video. The details are all there. Reach out to her. Jamie, thank you very much. I couldn't do these videos without people like yourself. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll now hand it over to Dave for the weather.